Well, more leaders aligned to President William Ruto raising the calls for the arrest of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua following remarks they describe as tribal and divisive. But even as pressure mounts, Gachagua has thrown down the gauntlet, daring Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to have him arrested. Given the CS has repeatedly pointed to the same, Gachagua arguing that nobody is above the law. The standoff is now raising fresh questions of whether the government is unwilling, unable, or simply choosing not to act. NTV's Susan Waweru reports.
Ametukana watu ya Mlima Kenya.
One after another, leaders aligned to the Kenya Kwanza administration are piling pressure on authorities to prosecute the former deputy president over remarks they say amount to ethnic incitement.
Kwa nini mtu mmoja anaruhusiwa kufanya maneno ya uchochezi na kutishia Wakenya wengine kwa sababu ya msimamo wao ya kisiasa? Waziri Murkomen, hapana patia huyu muhuni anaitwa Rigathi Gachagua nafasi ya kuumiza Wakenya wengine.
Bwana Gachagua, hii tabia konayo sasa akome, na nataka kumwomba Murkomen ambaye ni CS wa Interior sasa mchukulie hatua.
The calls for arrest have also been echoed by Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale, who himself is facing criticism for his recent remarks cited as ethnically polarizing. Duale has taken the table battle to Rigathi's doorstep.
Ulisimama jukwaa ukasema wakati Ruto alikutana na sisi viongozi wa North Eastern na wakaaji wa Mandera, wewe ulisema rais amekutana na Al-Shabaab. Wewe ulisimama jukwani ukasema kwa nini wa Somali wamepewa vio kubwa kubwa serikalini.
These calls are not a new matter. Gachagua's impeachment was largely based on his utterances, with some saying that he spoke his way into impeachment, as he is referred to as a man with a toxic and polarizing tongue. Amid it all, have been repeated warnings by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who has been saying that Gachagua will face the law, insinuating arrest, but with no implementation to boot on the part of the police.
You are organizing Mungiki against the government officials. You are organizing Mungiki against the electoral officials. But I want to tell you, we will not allow you. We will deal with you perpendicularly. Wewe unakuja kuwa mkali sana kuliko bandit ama kuliko Al-Shabaab. My friend, we will deal with you.
The CS, in seeking to demonstrate evidence of the former DP's errant ways, has also publicly linked Gachagua to various key incidents in recent years, which would ideally be a basis upon which the police would act.
Ulipanga wauni, wakaenda kuiba shamba ya Uhuru, wakakata miti yake, wakachukua mbuzi. Wakati wa siku ile ulikuwa una attempt coup, ukapanga wauni karibu wachome bunge. Baada umetolewa, umeendelea na wauni, wakaenda kuchoma police station huko Kikuyu. Wamechoma police station Dakoreti. Wamechoma police station Alkalao. Wamechoma duka ya mtu mwenye akusupport kisiasa, mwanasiasa akusupport huko Nyeri. Wakachoma biashara nyingine huko Meru. Ukazoea ukafikiria kuwa na goons ni kitu ya maana.
The reference of Gen Zs in the 2024 protest being linked to Gachagua is a sentiment that is likely to leave a bitter taste in the mouths of the youth. The very youth who demanded Murkomen's removal from office. Yet, Gachagua appears unfazed. If anything, he seems keen on being apprehended and keeping his Mount Kenya narratives alive and the unrelenting fight with Murkomen going.
Kama wewe ni mwanaume kamili, si ukuja unikamate. Mimi niko na jeshi sina. Vijana mko.
That challenge now puts the spotlight back on the government and more specifically, the security organs of the state. If the remarks amount to illegalities, down to the open admission of the minister in charge of security, questions arise as to why there has been no arrests. All that the public has been treated to is a war of words and egos.
Let me tell him that we will deal with goons and we will deal starting with your goons.
Also, critics question, if investigators do not believe a prosecutable offense has been committed, why then continue issuing public threats of imminent action as Murkomen has been doing? The claims of evidence with no pursuant promised action has fueled political debate over whether the government is exercising restraint, building a legal case, or hesitant to arrest one of its fiercest critics amid an increasingly charged political environment. For now, the war of words continues, with each side digging in as the country edges closer to the 2027 general election.
Mafizi mko?
Susan Oweru, NTV.